don't make us who we are. So I'll dream until I make it real, and all I see is.
Hi, everybody. We're going to go with it anyway. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mentorship Mondays with Michelle and Maren. And as we can tell, I can speak clearly.
Oh, Michelle, that just makes me so happy. Love it.
Sometimes it just comes right off the hop like that. And that's real life. That's just the way it is. But anyway, it's so nice to see you guys. And we are now, I'm not exactly in holiday colors, but I'm not wearing black. So I figured that's a good thing. And
Are you in white? I can't tell. It looks like white.
no, it's light pink. It's light pink. It's well, with the holiday theme, it's a leisure suit. I'm wearing a leisure suit because I'm feeling very leisurely, and I've been doing my shopping, but I do it online. So just to let you know, is I don't have the patience and the time that I used to browse. I used to really enjoy the holiday browse. You know, I would go to the malls, I would go to the different shops and, you know, do my shopping, and it would take weeks and weeks. I don't do that anymore. But I mean, my kids are getting older. Their gifts have changed quite a bit, you know. We don't buy as much as we used to, and we used to buy for extended family and you know, it was quite a big event and got very, very expensive. And we don't do that anymore. A lot of the kids are growing up now, and we keep it more to being together. So either enjoying a meal together or some kind of get together in one way or another. Um, and just before we came on, I was just saying, in case you were wondering too, by the way, guys, we're talking about some holiday stuff here since that is the season. But I was just talking with Maren, and we're talking a bit about traditions. And I was just saying, I was like, you know, our traditions have really changed because when COVID came in and we, you know, we weren't seeing everybody that we saw, we started having our family gatherings at home, like with our immediate family, my husband and my kids. And we were no longer traveling to people's houses or anything else like that. So it started to change the way we did Christmas. And in fact, although we missed everybody, our first Christmas at home was really peaceful because we weren't traveling. You know, the kids just enjoyed their new stuff. We ate a really nice meal. We watched movies, and it was a really fun day. It reminded me a lot of when I was a kid because I didn't have really extended family. You know, our family was really far away. Um, and my mom was an only child, you know, so we had some distant cousins in that we might see over the holidays for dinner or something. But Christmas Day was my grandma would come in. She lived in Strathroy, which was like a little town outside of the town I'm in London, 20-minute drive. And so we would drive out there and pick her up and bring her to our house. And I always remember her making the gravy. I remember like before dinner, she was always in the kitchen talking, making the gravy and telling me how I should be helping my mother because I was too busy doing other things like playing with my new toys. So that's what it reminded me of. You know, it was like I was experiencing that with my own kids being at home. And that's been really nice. And we're going to be doing that again this year. We're going to be at home on Christmas Day. Um, but unlike the COVID years, we'll say, we are going to travel on, and I'm in Canada, so we have Boxing Day. So Boxing Day is going to be at my in-laws. So a little busier this year, but yeah, the whole reason why I was bringing that up was I was doing my shopping this morning in my leisure suit. I was doing my online shopping because I can. So I had my shower. I was like, you know, I always kind of laugh because when I'm doing all of my videos or, you know, for channeling Eric or my maybe I shouldn't say this out loud for my clients and everything, I'm always like business on top, party on the bottom. You know, do you know what's going on down here? It's leggings, just to let you guys all know. Usually it's leggings. But today there really is a full leisure suit that is all in the same. And
Oh, that's awesome.
it's soft and leisurely, let me tell you. So yeah, I did my online shopping. But what about you, Maren? What kind of traditions do you have in your family?
Okay, well, so one that I hope we're gonna start. We this is our first year this year. We bought a live tree.
Oh, nice.
And it was so much fun to go out and like decide as a family which tree we were going to cut down. And we brought it home and it was I've only had fake trees and they're like so prickly and pokey. And this was so soft. And I would just sit there and like pet the branches. And I like just wanted to hug the tree. Like I really felt like it is like a lot. I mean, it is alive, but like just I feel like the energy of the tree and I like love it. Like it feels like a pet.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll see when I have to give it away at the end of the season. Maybe I won't like the tradition anymore. I don't know. But
you're like trying to grow roots out of the bottom of it and put it back into the ground.
yes. Yes. So we'll see how that goes. But I really enjoyed it. And then I love making a really big breakfast for Christmas morning. Like that's my favorite, like snacking on it kind of like all day. Like that's one of my favorite things. But my most favorite tradition of all, it's called the sparkle box. And so we have this little box that's sparkly, hence the name, sparkle box. And anytime someone does like an act of kindness, we write it on a piece of paper and we put it in the sparkle box. And then we read what everybody did at our Christmas Eve dinner. And we say that the sparkle box is our gift to Jesus. Because we're celebrating Jesus's birthday, so he should get a present. And you know, obviously he doesn't need anything material, so the only thing we can really give him is acts of kindness. So that's what we do, and it's the best because on Christmas Eve, it kind of makes me emotional just watching the boys like perk up like every time. And you know, when they were like babies, it's like Quinn gave mommy a potato chip from his lunch, like, you know, just like
Oh,
silly
that's
thing.
sweet. That's sweet though. And
Now
what a
it's
beautiful tradition for them to grow into and see the importance of acts of kindness, what they are, because of course the energy of Jesus is love. He is love.
Yeah.
And teaching that love and sharing that love. And no, I think it's beautiful to be able to share with your family and also to share with everybody else something that not only at Christmas but something we can do all year round, but that's a really awesome tradition to have at Christmas time. It's interesting to see. So have the boys, do you know any of the things that they put in there right now?
Well, I'm the one that writes it all. But they'll be like, they'll do something and they'll be like, are you gonna put that in the sparkle box?
That's nice.
And so I'm like, yes, I will. Like, I'll put it in the sparkle box. So yes, and it's really, I mean, like, it's really theirs, like between the two of them that I put in. And occasionally I'll say something like nice that me or my husband have done, but it's mainly about them and fostering their you know, kindness.
Their kindness and everything. That's that's beautiful.
Yeah. So I love it.
There's something that we do, and we actually do it on New Year's, and we kind of the same thing. We talk about something that we want to put into the new year that is like ushering in kindness into our family, into our life, something that benefits ourselves and others. It's good for both. And the biggest one that I started years and years ago was recycling. And I know that maybe other people just did that so naturally, but I was not a good recycler for many years. And we have kept that up and then some for years now.
That's great.
Yeah, we're very good recyclers.
Good.
But,
Take care of Mother Earth. That is very good.
Yeah. So just like those type of things, you know, sometimes there might be, we try to make it so it's not like commitments in the way that makes it feel like we've really worked on teaching our kids that to not set yourself up for I'm going to do this and do this and do this. And then if you don't accomplish it in that way, then ends up being something that you personally feel that maybe you let down, but rather to put it as something that's going to better. Like it's more of an energy of bettering something, and something simple like, I've got a new recycle bin and I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it as
Yeah.
much as possible. And having it as more of a goal, not like a time commitment or something in that nature, something that's good for, there's some things that we've done that is about communication. Like I'm going to communicate better with the family this year, or I'm going to request that we have family meetings. We used to do something, we don't do it so much now that the girls are older, but we did, like, we had court, we would have, like, we would call it, I don't think we really called it court. We called it like a family meeting, but we would hear cases.
Oh, I was like putting in court. Okay.
Yeah. So when something, if somebody didn't feel heard in the house, or one of the kids didn't feel heard and they wanted to, for example, my one daughter wanted to go on a trip that we felt was not appropriate age-wise for her to go. We had a lot of concerns with this trip. And she prepared for days a slideshow. She had like she had like your computer hooked up to the TV and had everything, a presentation, the whole bit of why she should go on this trip. Did she go on the trip? No, she didn't.
What?
But
I was like, after all that.
I know, and it was a tough one. It was a tough one, but it came down to a lot of safety issues at that time, and her age and everything. And she's actually planning another trip now. Now that she's older, it will be better for her.
Okay.
But yeah, that stuff is hard. But allowing them to go through the experience of, working or presenting something to us, whether it's I'm looking for more space, or I don't feel heard, or I want to make a change in my room.
Yeah.
I want to change the color. I want to do these things. And we're very flexible. We've always been very flexible with our kids expressing themselves. But we also work very hard to teach them communication, and as they grow, to be able to take in more of that ability to themselves, to be able to make decisions for themselves.
Yeah.
And so we notice that as they get older, they need us less to make those decisions. But that's good. That's good. That's what we want.
Really? Yeah. That's really good.
But
so this week is Christmas.
Yeah, I know.
I cannot believe it.
I know. I was just saying that time has flown. I know that we say that about so many things, but this has been the quickest year I think I've ever experienced.
Yeah, I agree, actually.
Maybe
because half of it we've been sick through it all.
Possibly. Yeah. And hopefully all of those viruses and colds and all of that, we're getting them all.
Yeah.
I think wearing the mask too for the kids in school, like for our kids anyway, and not having that, germ spreading happening. It's kind of like going back to kindergarten all over again, where they just start to integrate with, yeah. Yeah, so I think a lot of that's happening as well. But what else did you want to talk about?
Okay, well, I was thinking because Christmas is Sunday, I hope. It's not Saturday, right? It is Sunday, I think. I think we should talk about like the big man whose birthday it is. Just a little bit, just a little, like I should have like thought this through more before we started talking, but like, who is he? Is he, I know I'm making you work really hard, but like, is he just like us? Is he God? Who is he?
Well, and I'll tell you, and I'm not channeling him right now. I was waiting to see if I could feel him come in. So this isn't channeled from him directly right now. This is my interpretation of what I've learned
Okay.
of who he is. He is a man that walked the earth. He is a man who came here as a messenger from God. Could we say that he, like many of us that are speaking as healers, many of us that are sharing God's word, source, whatever you want to describe it as, is there similarity to that? Yes. From what I understand, a lot of what we've learned in the Bible, I mean, we can really look at it, and there's a lot of things in there because it is interpretation, is what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things in there that are very mystical to me, and that's the way I always looked at it. I always
Mm-hmm.
saw it as very mystical, and that's the way I always looked at Jesus. And I remember being a child and being in our church, and there was a statue of him that was kind of in my line of sight in the pew that I sat with my family. And I could have sworn that he was blinking at me. Like I would
Wow.
stare at it and I would see and I don't know if I was imagining it. And to this day, I mean, it's hard to say really what that was, but I remember feeling this. It was like looking at a movie star to me. That's a
Yeah.
sense that I had as a child. I had like a lot of wonder, and I looked at him, but I always felt like a mystical feeling. Like that's how I describe it, that mystical feeling. And so Jesus represents an energy. So as a man that walked on this earth and did some pretty amazing things, he was teaching love. He was also teaching the ability, if we talk about our ability to heal ourselves, our own sovereignty. You know, a lot of the things that we talk about now are things that he taught in a very different time, in a time where the connection to source was very different. I mean, that's something we could get into. That's a pretty deep conversation to get into that. But when we talk about God, when we say God the Father, right, he is recognized as a representation of God, of source. Now, we could get into a conversation of, you know, God the Father, male energy. You know, is this a man that sits up in the sky on a cloud that is
Yeah,
like
I know.
judgmental? No.
Yeah.
The way that it's been explained to me is it is a nor male nor female. It is a not a 50-50% of the male female. It is a mixture of male female energy, and source is the creator. Source is the original energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, there's many different versions of what people understand that started as, but like we all are, Jesus is a man that came and was sent, incarnated onto the earth to be able to share a message, to be able to display
Really teaching spiritual concepts, you know, which
well,
I mean,
and I mean, there's been a lot of things I've learned about Jesus, being in the mystic schools,
yeah,
atheist,
I've heard that too. Yeah.
you know, so really,
I know.
mhm,
I was just, I know there's like some mystics alive today
mhm,
that can, you know, do some of the things that Jesus could do. So I
mhm,
feel like there's definitely a connection there.
yeah, well,
Um,
and the thing is that, you know, over many, many, many generations and thousands of years, um, the idea of Jesus and who he was and what he did and what he stood for has been changed and developed and kind of sculpted into whatever belief systems. And this really isn't about multiple belief systems and who's right and who's wrong, because the way it's been taught to me is there really is no ultimate truth.
Yeah.
There are many
I agree with
versions
that.
of the truth. And
Yeah.
rather than say this is right and this is wrong, it's what version fits.
Well, because it's all based on your experiences and people's experiences. I agree.
That's right.
So, okay, so I have a question for you.
Mhm.
I have personally been shocked in my readings when like spirits will talk about Jesus. It really throws me off because I don't know why. Like, of course, he's up in heaven. Of course, he's helping people with their transitions.
Mhm.
Do you have any like beautiful Jesus stories or anytime Jesus has surprised you? Or a really good question I wanted to ask is like the first time like Jesus came to you, was that like a, you know, a big thing? Or I'm putting you on the spot, but
Yeah,